Hey guys, D-Res here with a few quick Diablo 3 tips for you. Now these are just some features within the game that I really wish I would have known straight from the start, and hopefully some of you guys learned something from this. Some of you may already know these tips, and I apologize in advance if that is the case. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. First and foremost is the quick join option here in the social tab. You see this allow quick join at the bottom. This is enabled by default, and if you're like me and you have a lot of BNet friends, you're going to have a lot of people jumping in and out of your game. That changes the difficulty of the game, and if they don't have any intention on helping you, that's not so fun all the time. And so by unchecking this, your friends can't just join your game whenever they want, making things difficult for you. So I went ahead and disabled this, and now I can just choose to invite my friends anytime I want to party with them, and to me that makes a lot more sense. So disabling allow quick join first and foremost I believe is very important. Second off, in the gameplay tab here, elective mode. This is also very important. Now this is disabled straight from the start. I don't know if Blizzard's going to continue to keep this mode disabled. I just don't understand why. But you're going to want to make sure this is enabled. Enabling elective mode allows you to bind multiple skills from the same category simultaneously. And what I mean by that is if you look here at your action bar skills, 1 and 2 are both set to defensive. Now by default with elective mode disabled, you cannot do that. And the way that I can do this is by enabling elective mode, and that gives you arrows at the top here. So if you'll notice here, I'm able to choose any skill I want from any category. And by default, you cannot do that. You simply can't choose multiple defensive skills to bind. And that makes no sense to me because as a barbarian, leaping into a ground stomp, that's a very important thing. And so make sure you enable elective mode. I think that's going to help you down the road for sure, even immediately right off the bat. As soon as you can use 2 skills, you'll benefit from it. Okay, moving on to the next tip here. You can hold Alt to see items on the ground. Now many of you may already know this from Diablo 2, but anytime you have items on the ground and the names have disappeared and you want to see if there's a gem or just something useful on the ground, you can go ahead and press Alt and those names will come back up. Furthermore, you can press Control, and pressing Control on an item will actually show you the tooltip, and that's very useful. As many of you know, you have a very limited stash. In Diablo 3 all your characters share the same stash, which is really cool, but it also means that you have very limited stash. Even fully upgraded, you're just not going to have enough spots in your bag for everything if you pick everything up. You're going to be dropping trash later. So to make sure you pick things up that are worth your time and worthwhile, just press Control when you hover over the item and say, do I really want that? That allows you to filter out the items and not pick up trash for future. So moving on to the next tip here, when you hover over weapons, such as a one-hander here, you'll notice that it shows me my primary weapon. Now if I want to compare it to my secondary weapon, in the beginning of the game I was constantly hovering over my secondary weapon, and I didn't realize that all you had to do was press and hold Alt, and it shows you your secondary weapon stats. Next up is the force standstill feature. Now that involves holding down left shift is the default bind there, and once you hold that down you are able to click and attack without moving. Now this is very useful for ranged classes, and it's even useful for melee. If I'm stuck in between a trap, I can't go forward or backwards due to fire or whatnot, this allows you to continue attack foes around you without moving your character. So force standstill, default bind is shift, again very useful. Now my final tip here is to check the auction house and check it often. And as many of you are aware, you have to leave your game to check the auction house, and you'll find it here in the menu on the bottom left. So go ahead and click auction house here. Now you can buy items off the auction house pretty frequently without breaking your bank, and the trick there is to just look for items that are cheap, and that's fairly easy to do with Blizzard's maximum buyout feature. Now if we want to find something that's really cheap, we simply type in, say, 2,000 gold. That's not a lot of gold, you can collect that really fast here. We want to find something that's my item level, say 31 through 33, and hit search, and you're going to see we even have some rares in there. That's cheaper than you'll see on a merchant. Merchant magic items, not even rares, are usually 3,000 to 4,000 gold. And here we can sort by the buyout here at the top, and notice that I can get one for as cheap 51 DPS, for as cheap as 600 gold. So check the auction house, check it often. It's way better than using the merchants in-game. Keep your character up to date on gear, maybe once every 5 to 10 levels, and you'll run through the game. You'll cruise through it without any problems. Just to give you an idea, I had a buddy that wasn't using the auction house, and I was 6 levels below him and almost double his health and double his damage just because I had been looking at the auction house, and I even had more money. So it's very important to check your items. constantly and see if you can get some upgrades throughout. It'll save you a lot of time. It takes a couple minutes to check the auction house, so just do it. Also, selling items on the auction house is really easy. You can only sell up to 10 items at a time, but you can make a lot of money here, so I'd actually recommend selling if you haven't already. And once you buy items on the auction house, they'll appear here on the left in the completed items, and you'll have to send them to your stash from here, otherwise you may not see them. That may be confusing for some people at first, so if you do buy something from the auction house, make sure you visit the completed tab, click on the item over here on the left column, and click send to stash. Anyways guys, that concludes it for this short tips video. I hope you learned something useful. I will be doing more videos in the future, probably more centric to the Barbarian class. I do have quite a few tips about this class and different mashups that you can do versus bosses and versus AoE, just to maximize your damage, maximize your efficiency, and also maximize your fun. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm D-Rez. Have a great day, guys.